Here today with the beautiful and oh so illustrious Miss Rene Bailey. Miss Rene Bailey is an illustrious gospel singer that blends together jazz and gospel to create her own unique sound. Miss Rene Bailey has worked with people like Aretha Franklin, Paul Anka, and the wonderful Louis Armstrong, as well as many other artists. So today we are going to hear some of her story and see what she has to share with us. So firstly, I am so honored to be here today with you and get to know you and your story and your journey, because I know that it will inspire many others who hear it. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious. They call you Lady Sunshine, and I can see why, but I want to know why. Do you have any background on how you got that nickname?
Repeat that again. I'm a little bit hard of hearing. Talk a little bit louder.
Okay, I'll say it again. So, I know that they call you Lady Sunshine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to know the story behind that nickname.
Well, Lady Sunshine, I did quite a few shows in Woodstock.
Okay.
And that's where Lady Sunshine came from, was Woodstock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a whole write-up in my book here of Lady Sunshine in Woodstock. And so everyone started calling me Lady Sunshine, because I always carried a smile on my face.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they just thought you looked like sunshine.
That's
Mm-hmm.
lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been based in the Hudson Valley for how long now?
I've been in the Hudson Valley now, I would say every bit about 48 or 49 years. I moved up here in 72. And I've been here ever since then.
And what drew you to the Hudson Valley?
Well, I was with the Peg Leg Bates band.
Mm-hmm.
And after I started doing shows for Peg Leg Bates,
Mm-hmm.
other places wanted me, like the Neverly, the Granite.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went different places singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when do you think that you started to really take singing seriously? When did you realize it was a true passion of yours?
And then I realized that it was
A true passion of yours.
well, I would say about 10 years ago or more. No, more than that.
When you were younger?
You mean when I first started singing?
Yeah, when you first started singing.
I'm sorry about that. When
It's
I
okay.
first started singing, I was 5 years old, singing in the church.
Yeah.
My dad would stand me up in a chair so I could be seen. They could hear me, but they couldn't see me. I was too short.
Mm.
So I started singing gospel when I was 5 years old. And from there, I started singing in a little group
Mm-hmm.
called the Silver Leaf Gospel Singers. My cousin and Mrs. Willis,
Mm-hmm.
they was the manager of our group. It was 5 of us little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And we was called the Silver Leaf Gospel Singers. And reason we was called the Silver Leaf Gospel Singers, we had to wear little gray skirts, the black long sleeve blouse with a little silver leaf pinned on the blouse.
Oh, that's so cute. I can only imagine it.
Yeah.
That's so lovely. So you were singing in church, and that's how you found your voice. How do you think that singing in church prepared you to be the next level of performer that you would eventually become?
Because you have in the church, you get that feeling. You have to feel it, babe, to deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you feel it, you feel like your audience feels it. But if you don't feel it, forget about it. They don't feel it either. And this carried me to higher grounds. The more I would sing, the more they would say yes, yes, yes. And that kept me going to where I am today.
Yes,
Mhm.
That's lovely. So, I know you have an album out
Mhm.
called The Good Old Songs.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you?
The good old songs is the song that you heard your parents, your grandparents, and sing long ago in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Started in the church. They come up with those old songs, and awful a lot of them they would shout when you get to singing, and
Mm-hmm.
the music get to going. They would get happy. Their feet would get happy, and that's what you call good old songs. That you singing something that someone can remember years ago.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's true. Timeless.
Yeah.
Timeless. Okay. How was the experience creating your own album and recording it?
Well, I had help doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. I had help doing that. A very nice young gentleman. He put it all together and picked out the songs. And I must say that gentleman was his father sitting there. Yes, he was a very good young man, and he put it all together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
lovely.
and picked out the musicians, what I would need
Mm-hmm.
and what I wouldn't need, and it just went very nice, very nice. Mm-hmm.
That's lovely.
Eli Wintergrass.
Eli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you faced as a performer, as a live performer?
What was one of the talents?
Challenges.
Challenging?
Challenges. Mm-hmm.
Well, you always face challenges. There's always somebody out there, you know, come in and they feel like, hey, I can do better than that or whatever. But I didn't go for challenging. I just went what was from my heart, reaching the people from my heart. I didn't go out there to try to out-sing anybody. No, I went out there to deliver to the people from my heart. I'm not out. If you go out there trying to challenge or whatever, you're gonna lose one way or another. So you go out from the heart, and they will receive you. You will reach them. That's what you have to do. You don't go out there to, I can sing better than you, or watch me. No, I never believed in that. Mm-hmm.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's definitely, we need to quote that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to quote that. I need to hear that in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I need to hear that in the morning. That will keep me going.
Mm-hmm.
We're dropping wisdom here. We're dropping wisdom here.
There you
I
go.
love that. That's a great take.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially I know that when you were up and coming,
Uh-huh.
there's definitely articles. I see you have your articles here,
Yeah.
but there wasn't like social media. And now with a lot of my peers,
Yeah.
it's a lot of comparisons.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of people have a lot of anxieties, a lot of
Mhm.
second doubts because everything is out there, everything is displayed, so it's hard to find your own lane, your own sound when you're comparing yourself
That's it.
to other people. So I think it's lovely that, just lead with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say when you feel it, you
Oh,
have
yes.
to feel it,
Yes.
because that will make such a difference. If you're doing it from your heart, you don't have to worry about competition or the outcome, and just worry about what you're doing.
You don't have to pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to pretend. And you feel like I'm not out here to see, can I sing better than this one or that one? I just sing, and I just hope that you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only way to do it.
Mm-hmm. What were some of the other artists or people around you that influenced you or inspired you?
Oh, I would say when we was teenagers growing up, a little bit down south,
Mm-hmm.
and the singers, the professional singers that would come from the northern state would come down, and our group, we would always open the program for them. Open the program for them. And that was a joy within itself. So I say I got inspired from the Davis Sisters of Philadelphia, Clara Ward Singers, the Soul Stirrers, Sam Cooke. We would open all of those programs for them. We'd be on the same stage with them.
That's
And we sung from our heart. Yes, we did. And they would it would be so funny. They said, how can you guys sing like that? And you don't have to have anything to drink. If you sing it from your heart, you don't need anything to drink. No, you don't need anything to drink. You just need to keep singing, and you know when the people feel it. Yeah, but there's a lot of the professional entertainers that we would open the show for them. And one in particular was Aretha Franklin. Her dad had just put out the album, The Eagle Stirs the Nest. You ever heard of that? The Eagle Stirs the Nest. And they was in my hometown, and it was a Methodist church. Aretha would play the piano and sing for her dad, and the Davis sisters were with them. And our group opened the program up for them. Well, we was in a Methodist church, and Aretha was singing Never Grow Old. And the people didn't get up and shout and clap. She got up from the piano, she said, I'm not singing anymore. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. She didn't sing anymore either. So we finished out the program for her dad. Yeah.
And she stood by it.
Yeah.
Definitely speaks to what people say about her strong spirit. She's it's always good to know somebody's always been themselves.
Yes.
Somebody's
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So how
we was the Gospel Lights at that time of Moultrie, Georgia. The Gospel Light Singers.
Okay, so we have the Silver Leaf Singers and the Gospel Light. I'm taking notes. The Silver Leaf Singers and the Gospel Light Singers. How old were you when you were in the Gospel Light Singers?
Well, when I was in the Gospel Light Singers, we started when we was teenagers in school. Teenagers in school. On the weekend, on a Sunday, we was in somebody's church singing. We had a lovely leader, Madam Sophie Reed was her name. And we had, when school was out for the summer, she would take us traveling all over. We would come from Georgia all the way up to Connecticut, singing for the summer. Yeah.
That's lovely. That's a good summertime. That's a useful summer. What were some of your favorite places that you've been to, that you've performed?
Well, we would go to different churches. In those days a lot, you had special places to go to. You couldn't go everywhere. But the average places was the Baptist churches in New Britain, Connecticut. And it's been so long, just been different places that our manager would book us. And we knew that we had to go, and we loved it. We really loved it. And it wasn't no question where we wanted to go. She'll book us and say, this is where we're going to be this week or that month or whatever like that during the summer, which is really good. Yeah.
So you fine ladies were booked and busy.
Oh yeah.
All summer. You had your itinerary all planned out, and you would go and do what you have to do. That's lovely. That's work ethic. That's work ethic. How?
I'm sorry. Where did they stay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did they
I
stay?
might want to talk about how they couldn't go everywhere because of the situation.
Oh, okay.
Is that where you get?
Yeah.
So what? There were limits on where you guys could go and stay. Where would you guys stay on the road?
Where we like to stay on the road. Say that again.
Where would you guys stay, like for hotels while you were traveling during this era, during this time?
We couldn't live in a hotel. We couldn't go to a hotel. We was booked. We had to go to some of the church members' homes because of the segregation. And if we needed gas, our manager pulled up to the station, and if we couldn't use the bathroom, she wouldn't buy the gas. We could not live in a motel or anything. They wouldn't rent it to us. So we always was prepared to live in one of the church members' home. That's where we would live. Yeah.
And how was your process as a young lady understanding that you couldn't go into those places? How did that make you feel? How did that affect you?
It would affect us, but we knew to live with it. We knew to, tell them, hey, we'll find a place. She would always find another place for us to go to the bathroom. But we didn't get angry. We didn't call names, anything like that. We was more respected. More respect to do that. We knew this was in our country. We knew this was in our state. So you had to be prepared. Be prepared to accept whatever you come across. And that made us more understanding of you're not hurting my feelings. One day we will overcome. And we did.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you did. Wow. Well, I'm glad that we did overcome and you did overcome.
Mm-hmm.
How was it like to feel the changes around you as you were growing up, as you were going up as a performer and realizing that as times were changing, things were changing around you?
Well, we realized when things was changing, when they found out that why don't we let these people come in? We can make more money off of them than the ones that we do let come in. They found out that our tipping was better when we order food. They would get us good tips. And they found out, what are we doing? What are we doing to these people? We letting the best money go by letting them, They found that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started saying, you can come in the front door, you can come in. You can come in and have a seat. It just takes patience, babe. Patience. Patience bring about a change. And if you're patient enough, you'll see that change. You'll see that change. Mm-hmm. So that's how we got over knowing that our patience and politeness brought a change in them. Brought a change in them. They realized we are losing money. Look how much tip they left at this table. Look how much food they bought. And this really tells you something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it easier traveling in the north than it was down south? Was there a difference?
In a way it wasn't. In a way it sort of went, both ways at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both ways at times. Because when we would come north, we would stay in some of the church people homes also.
Mm-hmm. Depending on what town you were in, counties, things like that.
Yeah, we still stay in the church people homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it wasn't much different. Yeah, we knew what to expect down south,
Mm-hmm.
but when we would come up here, it wasn't much different. In those years,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Because I know, as a person that didn't live through these challenges, my perspective, which is, I'm so happy, once again, I'm so happy to be having this conversation because I would witness it from a textbook
Okay.
that was written by somebody that doesn't didn't go through those things.
There
So
you
I
go.
had this notion, and I know a lot of people do have this notion that
Uh-huh.
things were different down south,
Oh, yeah.
and that they were different up north, and
Mhm.
that everything was good and jolly up here, and
Mhm.
that these things weren't happening over here as violently as they were happening
Mhm.
down south. So I'm glad that I can get that insight on how your experience was throughout.
Oh, you experienced some
country.
of the same stuff. You experienced some of the same stuff. You
Mhm.
really did. But you had to be brave enough to say, hey, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna call names. I'm not gonna fight over it or whatever. But there come a time when things will change. Things will change, and they did.
They did.
Yeah.
So, since we are revisiting the past, I want to see what's in this blue book with all these clippings. Can we go
Okay.
through this?
Sure.
Let's see. I'll just open it and then you tell me the story behind it. Okay. Rene Bailey, I'm going to show you. Rene Bailey, Kerhonkson, New York. And then we have this picture. What's the story behind this?
That was I would say about 20 years ago. About 30 years
Okay.
ago.
That's pretty new.
About 30 years ago.
And this is you?
Mm-hmm.
93.
Mm-hmm.
And where was this?
Yeah, that's me.
Let's see. Coach Houses, 70, Girls, 70. Robin Hood Style, Gerardo Gang, AIDS Contemporaries in Musical Comedy. Oh, that's you!
Don't forget to show it to
I'm having a time. Sorry guys, I'm having a great time. So what's the story behind this?
Yeah. That was a play that we did at the theater here in Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Torch House was 70 Girls, 70. That's what we did, Robin Hood style.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So 70 Girls in 1970.
Uh-huh.
So you ventured into theater?
Yeah.
And you didn't let us know? That's important. We want to talk about that too. So when did you start doing theater? When did you?
Well, it was a club that I was in, a group here in Kingston, and they wanted to put on a play. 70 Girls, 70. And so we said, okay, we'll do it. And so we had quite a bit of rehearsal, and it came down that we did it in the theater there on the Broadway. And it went rather well.
Okay, did you? How was that different for you than singing like gospel music?
Well, that was different for me because I was doing something that I loved it to do because in high school graduation, I did some singing and acting in our graduation play, and it just pumped me up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it was something that was like really, really fun for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, let's see. Okay. This is it from the Times Herald Record. Winding up the show, Bass introduced a woman who's been his feature attraction for 10 years at his country club in Kerhonkson, Rene Bailey. Repeated shouts of, "Sing your song, sister," could be heard as Miss Bailey punctured the melody line of "Just the Way You Are" by Billy Joel, closing the show with her interpretation of Rodgers and Hammerstein's "You'll Never Walk Alone." I'm going to do it the way I feel," she said. And she did for 8 minutes. "Hold on to your dreams," she interpolated into the song, repeating it over and over. She also repeated the "never" of "Never Walk Alone" many times, accenting each one with more feeling into the hundreds of men stood cheering. You made it a good Christmas, inmates told the performers, and by the time they got to the outside, tears were in the eyes of Bates and Miss Bailey. They made it a good Christmas for us, the performers responded. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful. So this was a performance for the correctional facility?
Mm-hmm.
That's so wonderful.
That was one of the songs I had to do on every show, Never Walk Alone.
So you found ways to make it different and make it your own.
Yes.
Make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
So you like to do a lot of covers?
Well, I don't see why not.
No, of course. Yeah, making it your own style. But this is wonderful. That's what you just told us. I'm going to do it the way I feel. As long as you do it the way you feel. Okay. I'm gonna flip through. These are beautiful pictures. At the townhouse in Huntington. This hair. I'm loving the hair and these gowns. Beautiful. What was I love beauty. I love hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what was your process like for getting ready on stage?
Well, for getting ready on stage, you always had someone back there to help you if you need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always, I learned how to really do a lot of things myself. Because sometimes you would want someone to help you that's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn how to do different things. I even learned, after a while, I didn't need anyone to help to fix my hair for me. I could do that myself. And I learned how to do my face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot you have to learn. You have to learn. You just can't say, hey, I don't have to do it. Somebody's going to do it for me. Because that'll be the time someone's not there to do it for you.
That's true.
So you learn. You learn how to do it yourself. Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of getting ready? Were you more into the big hair or the makeup, or was it all about the dresses? What was your favorite part?
All about the dress.
All about the dress? All about the dress. The gowns,
Yeah.
I can see that. This gown in particular is beautiful. Where would you get your gowns? Would
you believe it? I made them myself.
A seamstress as
I
well?
think so.
A designer?
I made them myself.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Till I couldn't sew anymore.
Doing it
Yes, I
yourself.
did.
Doing it yourself. Okay. Then we have Marty's Cafe in Woodstock. A Christmas Day show.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Stardust Fine Dining. October 27th. The wonderful First Lady of the Blues, Miss Rene Bailey, and her trio. Alright. So we have this picture appearing in a lot of articles. So now I need the story behind the picture. Who took this picture for you, Miss Bailey? Who took this picture for you?
It was a photography in New York City. I can't think of the name of them, but they took the pictures for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of my manager in Woodstock. She got the company to take the pictures for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Photo shoots and making your own dresses.
Yes.
So lovely. Showstopper. Former gospel singer Rene Bailey is the seasoned sensation at Peg Leg Bates Country Club in Kerhonkson, New York, where she headlines the week and nightclub show. Miss Bailey puts plenty of soul in her songs and has been signed by Bates, the former show business star, to appear at his resort for the next 5 years. So let's get into that. How long were you at Peg Leg Bates?
About 20 years.
20 years.
Until he sold the place. Uh-huh. And so when he sold the place, then he wasn't a part of it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was with him just about 20 years doing the book place. Mm-hmm.
And how would you split your own gigs with working at the club?
Well, I did, let's see, I did 3 shows a week at the club. At that time, my husband and I was living in Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And we would come up on the weekend. I did a Wednesday night show we had, because the people checked out on a Thursday, so the people could come in on a Friday. They did a Wednesday night show, and outside on the pavilion, I did an afternoon show for the buses that would come up. He would have 25 to 30 buses up every weekend on a Saturday and Sunday. So outside on a Saturday, we do a show, and inside on a Saturday we do the night show. And on a Sunday, the buses would come up and we would do an afternoon show outside on a Sunday. And at that time, I was also working at the Neverly. I would do a Saturday afternoon show at Peg Leg Bake, and I would run to the Neverly and do 6 o'clock show, and then I would go back to Peg Leg Bake and do a 9 o'clock show that night. And then I would, on a Sunday afternoon, I would do the 5 o'clock show outside, and that night I would go back to the Neverly and do a night show. And so I had to sort of, slow down a little bit. I was just really running too much, doing too much. So I had to slow down a little bit.
It was a really busy time
Yes.
in your life. How far away were the venues from each other? The Neverly and the...
Oh, the Neverly, how many miles? It's right in Ellenville.
Oh, okay.
From Peg Leg Base to Ellenville.
Okay, so just a
So
quick...
it wasn't too far. No.
20 miles? Okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but still cutting it a little close.
Yeah.
But I see you managed to make it happen while making your own gowns and doing your own hair.
Yeah.
And if I interject, singing in the choir at church too, right?
Oh, yes.
So you need to ask her about the church.
The church. So the whole time you're doing all these shows, you still stayed in the church, singing in the church?
Oh, yes. I was the director of the church choir.
Really?
I was the director of the church choir. And every Sunday morning, we was there for rehearsal and sung in the Sunday morning service. And during the meantime, believe it or not, Peg Leg Bates was there every Sunday morning and sang in the choir.
That's beautiful. That's
You
beautiful.
love singing in the choir, yeah. So for years, I was the choir director.
How? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it.
Sorry.
I'm just formulating good questions. You're good. So the whole time you kept your roots in the church. Was it very rewarding for you to
Yes.
always go back home to your center and be able to inspire others how you were inspired when you were younger?
It was very inspiring to me. And at the same time that I was a choir director, I became I was assistant to the pastor.
As well.
I was assistant to the pastor. When she wasn't there to do the service, I did the service. I did the service.
So you were deaconess as well?
I loved it. I really loved it. I did. So it all came together as I wanted it to. The choir and assistant to the pastor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the superstar.
Yeah. I was assistant to the pastor. I would say about 15 or 20 years. Yeah.
And what church was this?
Samsonville United Methodist Church in Samsonville.
In Samsonville, Connecticut?
No, New York.
New York.
Okay, Central New York.
Okay.
And the choir had to dismantle when the COVID came on. They, stopped the choir, but we could do a solo. The pastor would have me to do a solo, and she would do a solo. But the choir had to dismantle because of the COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was about 5 years, I would say.
I think, right, David?
You might want to talk about, besides being fortunate and lucky enough to be playing music with Rene for decades, since my hair was black, you might want to talk about the way this woman, she calls herself the assistant minister. Let me tell you, nobody can preach like this woman. And she does it on a regular show. When we're doing a regular show, and I said, Rene, let's sing Wonderful World. And sometimes she'll decide to do some preaching before she starts singing or in the middle of the song. She's very, very powerful.
So what is preaching to you? What does it mean to you?
What it mean to me? It meant so much to me because I felt like I'm doing a lot of things, but I wanted them to be more in order. What comes first? What means the most to me? And one of my theory was knowing God. Knowing God was one of my main things. I just felt like as long as He knew my heart, I was okay. I was pleased with that. And a lot of times you can't do anything without Him. You can't do anything without God. He the one leads you. He leads you to the right, in the right direction. And if you want to follow them, you will follow them. And this is what keeps you going. This is what keeps you going. Faith, believing. You have to believe. Faith will see you through. And that has always been in my life. I got to have faith. And that's what keeps me going today. Yeah.
So when you're on stage and you're singing and you start preaching, that is the physical manifestation of your faith and your connection to God.
Oh yeah.
And that's something you hold very dear and pushes you forward constantly.
You couldn't do it, babe, if you didn't have God in your life. You couldn't do it. You couldn't stand up there and tell the people what you want them to know. You have to tell them what God wants them to know. So you have to do it in faith. And when you do it in faith, it'll come out okay. Yeah. You can't get up there and say, I say so and so and so. Go to the Bible. Go to the Bible. The Bible tells you what to say, what to tell the people. Yes. You gotta have it to do it.
I want to circle back to the album, the good old songs. What, as you were choosing the songs to sing on this album, which were one of the first songs that you were like, okay, this is definitely going on there? What do those songs mean to you? And
the first one, You Can't Hurry God. No, that was my first song on the LP. You can't hurry God. But when He comes, baby, He's always on time. And standing in the need of prayer. It's not my mother, my father, my sister, my brother. It's me standing in the need of that prayer. And it's so many songs that you think about, it goes to your heart to talk about them and to do them. Yeah. But I wish I had brought the CD in. So but it was rewarding to me to know what I was singing. I could feel it.
Yes.
I could feel what I was singing. And I felt like if I felt what I was doing, I want to reach out and touch somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out and touch somebody. Yeah. There was a lot of good songs on that album. Yeah, it was. But the first one, You Can't Hurry God. He's always on time. Yeah.
Any others that are like your favorites or that really resonate with the people that you perform for, the people in your life that you touch?
Was it
The songs.
different songs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, different songs. Was You Can't Hurry God. Oh no, you just have to wait. You have to trust Him and give Him time, no matter how long it takes. For He's a God you can't hurry. He'll be there, don't you worry. You know He may not come when you want Him, but He's on time. That was one of my favorite, baby. one of my favorite.
Lovely.
One of my favorite. Yes,
Lovely.
You can't hurry. No.
So, aside from being the assistant
Mm-hmm.
to the pastor, and being the church director, what other holy duties do you hold?
What else did I do?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Well, I was also singing. I was also with the band. With David Wintergrass band.
Okay.
Yes. The Saints of Swing.
The Saints of Swing.
Uh-huh.
That sounds interesting. Can you tell me more about the Saints of Swing?
I met them. I met David years ago at the Rene. 30 years ago at the Rene. And they heard me sing. And I'm sure I touched somebody in that group. Means they had me for 30 years now. And it was a wonderful band. It really was. And it was a joy in singing to see the people in the audience, how much they was enjoying it. Yeah, how much they was enjoying it. And it was unbelievable. I say, well, Lord, I'm reaching somebody. As long as I can reach somebody, I think I'm all right. I was reaching the people, and that's what counted.
And the Saints of Swing, that's gospel music as well?
Oh, yes, they did gospel for me, and we did jazz. Yes.
I love the fusion.
Yes, we would have gospel programs.
And you still do?
Yeah.
And you're still performing with them?
Yeah.
So where can the people want to know, where can we catch you? Where can we catch you? Where can we see you next, Miss Bailey?
Saturday we are doing a show in Kingston.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
Saturday.
in Kingston.
From 8 to 10:30.
In the evening. Where?
The White Eagle Hall, it's a swing dance. There's a whole underground of young swing dancers, and we're playing
that's
the
so
swing
beautiful.
dance.
That will be June 3rd, but also on June 17th,
Oh yeah.
Miss Rene and the Saints of Swing will be performing at Harambe's Juneteenth celebration at about 12:30, 12:45.
Lovely. So I'm so glad to hear that you're still performing and mixing the genres and always touching back to your gospel roots. That's so lovely. I have to catch a show because, unfortunately, we have these local legends.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known. I would have walked right past you and I wouldn't have known this amazing, beautiful person with this beautiful story that you're sharing with us today.
Oh.
And I'm like in awe
Thank you.
of you. I hope you know you have, where's your fan club?
Yeah.
You have a fan club? You have a fan club? I'm part of it.
Yeah.
I'm part of it. I feel so elated. And I just love how close you are to your roots and how connected you are to the choir, the gospel music, those good old songs. So.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Hearing your side of the story, how you learned about gospel or whatever, and what you thought about it. So that.
I would say I grew up. I'm Dominican, so I grew up going to a Catholic church.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be in the choir, but I never joined because I felt like my voice would be too loud in that space.
Never think that. Never think that.
And like our services would be very quiet and very like, very much like we had a couple. We were still. We were a mostly Caribbean and Latin American church, so we still had our upbeat songs, but the service was very, very calm.
Okay.
So I never sang in church, but I had a friend that was really religious, and she would play gospel music for me, and I never really. I only went to like a Baptist church a couple of times. I never really experienced it for real, and I remember one time my aunt took me to a gospel church. And I was in awe because it just felt so beautiful to be in a church that felt like a celebration. And I didn't know the songs, but naturally, as the natural singer I am, as I'm sitting there, I would learn them like on the spot. And by the end of the song, because they just keep going. When you feel it, you just keep going. And by the end of the service, I was like, there's power in the name of Jesus to break every chain. Break every chain, break every chain. And I love those songs because whenever you're feeling low, like they honestly do bring you up, and it feels different.
They really
do. It does feel different.
They do. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
You do. Yes. It's just all in how you feel. How you feel it. Yeah, that makes it work for you. How you feel it. Nothing wrong with feeling what you do. Nothing wrong with feeling the songs that come in from your heart. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. As long as you can look out there and see the crowd just yes, that makes your day.
And it's true because sometimes, as a performer, sometimes there's times when you're not having the best day or you're not, but you have a show and you get there, you show up, you do what you have to do, and the audience will reward you. Even if it's just one person, when you can connect with that one person and you can see the effect you have on that person, that'll you go home at the end of the night and you
feel better.
Yeah, you feel better.
Better. Yes, you do. Yeah. So it do make a difference, and that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you singing. That's what keeps you singing.
Yes, I know. Someone asked me because I'm right now. I'm in that phase where I'm going to this show because I'm from New York City, but I live in the Hudson Valley, and I have a love for this valley. I love the people here. The people here have received me with open arms as if I was born here.
Yeah.
But I also have my shows in Brooklyn, and I come back and forth. And sometimes people are like, "Don't you think you're just doing too much?" But I'm like, no. Like I truly believe that where I'm supposed to be is where I'm supposed to be, and if I'm supposed to influence somebody in that room. I'm supposed to meet somebody in that room. So I have to be in that room. I have to make it happen. I have to.
To you, it's not too much.
It's
when
not.
Most say, "Oh, isn't that too much for you?" No, it's not too much. I can do it. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That is